Yeah, yeah.
JP.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you a story. I'm on the Nimbus. I'm in the Stratis. Come check my status. What the Flux is going on? I'm on the Nimbus. I'm in the Stratis. Come check my status. What the Flux is going on? I'm on the Nimbus. I'm in the Stratis. Come check my status. What the Flux is going on? I am fluxing on them now. I'm fluxing on them proud. I'm fluxing on them now. I'm fluxing on them proud. I'm in the Nimbus. Come check my status. What's my status? What the f is going on? I'm in the Nimbus. Come check my status. What's my status? I'm fluxing on them now. 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 I'm fluxing on them proud. What the flux is this? We going to the moon. Can I tell you something? Layer 1, layer 2, this is humongous. Decentralized, so we keep it 100. 10,000 nodes, yeah, we building an army. Flex on them now like it don't mean nothing. We an army and we strong. I'm on the Nimbus. I'm in the Stratis. Come check my status. Come check my status. What the flux is going on? What the flux is going on? But the Flux, we go so strong. We an army and we strong. And we strong.
You're unmuted.
We are, I said we are muted. We are live, Davey.
Morning.
Dude, does that get you pumped up or what? Those videos are so badass, man. They just keep getting better and better and better. It's like the best part of going to the movies is like, at least for me, is the intros. Yeah, that's like the best part. So unfortunately today that isn't the case. The intros just pale in comparison to what we're going to be talking about today. So I am excited. Today is the State of the Union. So this is the one event out of the year that I get really pumped up for. And Davey can testify to this. I get excited. There's a buzz in the air that starts about a month ago. And I get up everybody's ass. I want to get everything right for this. It's showtime, right? Because over the next 6 months, the world is changing quickly. And we're going to be helping iterate that. So that really does get you jazzed up. And as a strategy guy, this is what I live for. This is the stuff that gets me excited. So thinking about Flux 1 year down the road or 5 years down the road, really gets me pumped. Special shout out to Lisa for my Probably Nothing t-shirt. Davey, did you check that out?
Yep.
It's now in the store. I'm going to get one for my entire family because, they've had to hear this shit all their lives, so it's probably cool to have it. So when I'm long gone, they'll have that t-shirt. Good to go. So without further ado, we have to move quick today.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to cover.
There's a lot of stuff to cover, and I want to make sure you guys have an opportunity maybe to fire a few questions at the end if we can make it through in a timely manner. Historically, the State of the Union has ran longer than anything else, so we'll go fast, right? So a couple housekeeping things. Please like and share. There's a lot of people online, and we're not a lot of likes and shares. So please like and share. On Twitter as well, if anybody wants to live tweet this, I owe you. We like the live tweet because that starts to get people's interest starting to peak and so on and so forth. So let's do that. And without further ado, let's roll the State of the Union. Let's go. First of all, I want to start out by, doing a little bit of, like I was laying in bed last night thinking about who I wanted to thank. Honestly, I want to thank everybody on the team. The team has been amazing this year. Special thanks for proof of use work is Davey and Alex and, Nolan and Jeremy and all the folks that are working on that project. The marketing and PR team has been amazing this year. Like they in a bear market where everything is, bleeding out and it's doom and gloom, our marketing team continues to keep bringing new faces to Flux. And really, honestly, if you can do that in a bear market, the bull markets are just natural. We win in the end. So big shout out to Betty and her entire team as well. The developers, Today-ish and his group, Volter and all those guys. Special thanks to you guys as well. So, and of course, our moderators, our team members, everybody that's on this team. We would not be here today. We would not, and I want to say it again, we would not be here today without the dedication that they have put forth in Flux. And you do not see that in this space. You see people jumping back and forth between project to project. They want this shitcoin, they want that shitcoin. With Flux, you stay with this project. Everybody that is here today has been here long term, which is amazing. And we do get new folks in periodically, but pretty amazing shit. So special thank you to that. And a special thank you to the community. Without the community, we wouldn't be where we are today. We use you guys as a sounding board. We use you as beta testers, alpha testers, guinea pigs, I guess you could say. And without that input from the mining community, the node community, it is unbelievably valuable. The folks that are running this infrastructure have been here forever. So special thank you to you guys. All right, Davey, slide one. Flux State of the Union.
Let's do it.
One of my goals today is to really get through to everybody that's listening to this now and then later. What is the directives of Flux? What makes Flux unique from every other project that is attempting to do some type of decentralized compute? We are building Flux as a holistic environment, meaning we're bringing all the pieces of the standard tech stack into the blockchain arena as well. We are a tech project and a tech community that happens to have a blockchain. It isn't the other way around. The drive comes from us and developing the technology, building it on top of Flux, and making it great. So with that, you have 5 points of our business model. So our business model is what we've gleaned from the community, and we've kind of regurgitated into presentation so you understand where we're going and where Flux succeeds in the end. So, obviously our business model is to generate network fees for everybody running on the infrastructure. So whether you're miners, whether you're node ops, we want to make sure that you're continuing to be incentivized to stay with the project long term. So that's a big focus for us as well. Our Flux marketplace provides We're going to provide a holistic marketplace. And when I say holistic, meaning everything goes to there, whether it's rendering, AI, edge compute, front ends, back ends, game servers. These are all pieces and components that will end up in really two marketplaces, the proof of use work marketplace and the regular marketplace that we already have, but they'll both be kind of combined in one, sort of, kind of. But I won't give you more details or Davey will get mad at me. Flux Drive.
No.
Flux Drive, unbelievably important piece. Decentralized cloud storage. We just finished up Flux IPFS and doing NFT storage. Our very first one was minted. So the the Flux Titan Watch is being minted as we speak on the KDA network with storage on Flux IPFS for the actual spinny NFT thingamajigger, whatever it's called. And so they're working symbiotically. So that for the very first time, you're not relying on a third-party centralized platform like OpenSeas or something like that. It's stored in Flux, it's maintained in Flux, and it's tied to your KDA address, KDA address. WordPress. If you haven't launched on WordPress yet, we're still working on those pieces. It's in beta. Our goal is, as we start to go through our roadmap here, we'll start to talk about what we are thinking the road forward with WordPress is. But it's going to be a huge part of the business model as we move forward. And of course, our Titan nodes. To be able to participate on chain in a decentralized manner to allow people to participate in the network, it's absolutely paramount. So we'll continue to keep developing that out. We also want to get our decentralized systems administrators involved in the mix so that they can run infrastructure as well. And that's a goal that we're really pushing toward probably next year to really start to get that facilitated. Once proof of use of work is out, that's really our focus now. Next slide. So why is Flux different from an AWS or a Google or something like that? Multiple reasons why. With AWS or Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, you're paying for redundancy. You have to do that with Flux. So we are a redundant platform. All of our applications that run on top of Flux are built to have that redundancy in place. Two is the security piece of it. Docker Hub, IPFS, additional layers of security. So Docker Hub and IPFS, absolutely paramount to the project as we build it out. It makes the simplicity of Web 2 and Web 3 work together. So, I mean, it needs to have that you be able to traverse those two ecosystems seamlessly and feel like, they're just one and the same. Interoperability. So we're code agnostic. We give two shits about what you wrote that code in. As long as you can get that to a Docker, we're good to go. So we have different platforms. We've been working on Wallet Connect. We've been working on, what's the other one, Davey? It's Wallet Connect, and what's the other one? Oh.
MetaMask?
The MetaMask, thank you. I was going to say the shitty ETH wallet, but yeah, that. So we're continuing to put pieces into that really makes sense for everybody. Decentralization. No KYC. It's a pseudo-anonymous ID tied to your Zelle ID. Censorship-resistant deployments based on blockchain technology. And I always tell people when they say about censorship, resistant. Bottom line is, just because it's decentralized doesn't mean it's lawless. If you're deploying something nefarious that goes against the law in your local government or globally, you're going to get found out. There's products out there like, what is the... Chainalysis. It absolutely. And if you don't believe me that the Chainalysis isn't incorporating Flux, go take a look at their GitHub repo. They're working hard to make sure that they're doing that. So if you're going to do something bad, put particular types of pornography up there, whatever it is, you're going to get found. So just so you're aware. Watchtower, which is unbelievably amazing for people who want to run infrastructure. It's it almost auto updates. Of course, we like to muck things up every now and again, but the goal is to get that unbelievably seamless. But we'll continue to keep working on that. It is disruptive technology, folks. Your shit is going to go down. That's just the way it is. So we make sure that people that are running nodes are in it to win it, because it is a lot of work, I can tell you. And unbelievably competitive pricing. So this infrastructure on AWS is going to cost you about $232. Google Cloud is going to be $299. On Flux, 17 Flux or $5.42. And it blows people away. Like when I've set and I've given the, quasi this presentation to some of the big players, the OVHs, the Lumens of the world, they're like, wait a minute, how can you do that so cheap? It's like, well, we can do it so cheap because that infrastructure isn't maintained by Flux. It's maintained by the community. The community is the one that drives it. It is Bitcoin on steroids is what it is. If you could take the Bitcoin node network and make it used to work, that's Flux. That's really what Flux is. Next slide. So what makes us so powerful? Well, we've got 12,000 plus nodes all over the world. We're in, I want to say 70. Oh, yeah, it's up there. 74 countries. I almost forgot that it was up there, Davey.
Yeah, top right.
74 countries around the world. 93,000 plus total cores. 253. Wait, 25,313 terabytes. Why is there a comma there? I'm confused. Anyway, it's 6.664 petabytes. Maybe it's 253 terabytes.
Yeah, of RAM. Memory.
You Europeans, what is up with the commas, man? You confuse the hell out of me.
Just because you guys do it a little differently.
What can I say? Hey, the metric system does make sense, but what are you going to do? We can't.
You can clearly see we're not just in the States here. This slide just proves that. Just for our data itself, how we deal with the data.
Our president just called the transportation secretary Buttigieg booty juice. So yeah, we're definitely going to get on fixing the metric system for sure. Okay, so and basically very geographically dispersed, which is amazing because that really aligns well with our push for decentralization. Next slide. So what are our products that are running on Flux? Because people say that, they're like, what is all the stuff that runs on Flux? Well, you can run WordPress. It's in its beta phase. Our goal is probably end of the year this year, beginning of the year next year is to release that out of beta. We're basically working on fine-tuning, Davey, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, one thing, and that's the fact that when you put add-ons into WordPress, some of them can be expired, some of them can be, not legit, and it basically takes everything to crap. And it would be that way on any provider. So what we're going to do is pick about 10 to 15 add-ins or plugins, whatever you want to call them, and we're going to make sure that they work completely and totally before we go live with it. If you're adding an add-in after that, you're on your own. So, we want to make sure that the product is easy to use. And if people are just dropping in these crazy ass add-ins, we can't support that.
You mean the plugins?
We want to make sure. Plugins, yeah.
Some of those plugins are very well dressed, but then as soon as you start utilizing, either they're not supported on the version you're on, so there basically is no more support going forward, or they're conflicting with other plugins. And it has some interesting effects when you do that in a decentralized operation like we are. So yeah, we're going to probably give our vetted plugins, things that we've checked and have no issues living in a decentralized way, and then other ones might cause you negative effects. So but I do want to shout out the folks who've been working on WordPress. They don't get much publicity when it comes to announcements or bug fixes or anything like that. But these guys have been working tirelessly. The things that stood out for me for WordPress and the effect it has on our network as a whole has been enormous in the last year, right? So I know WordPress has been in beta since it seems like forever at this point, but
we got a lot of people We got a lot of people using it though, Dave.
Oh yeah, we're using it. I'm using it.
We're using. We like to break our own shit too.
Yeah, but the breakage that it costs at times has basically made our network a lot more stable, and probably folks will notice that as well when they look at their nodes and their and the error logs and all that fun stuff. things are improving on every weekly basis. Shout out to Trunk and Walter for the weekly updates that you guys see now. Yeah, they've been on the ball. So it's basically brought everything together for the network as a whole. And I want to give a shout out to the folks who've been tirelessly working on that, because it's a beast. It's old software. It's software from 2003. We're making it work in 2023. So just saying.
Yep. So we'll spin through these quick because this slide kind of looks like the other slide. So we run our the droplets. So basically allows people to have a secure, decentralized deployment. Flux drive, not your files, not your drive, not your files. We saw this with Google as Google started to shut people down for access to their files that they had on the Google Cloud. So with Flux, that doesn't happen because those files are your files. You're the one that holds the keys to that. So not your keys, not your crypto, not your drive, not your files. So our Flux Marketplace, interactive community, there's going to be some cool stuff coming with proof of use work, including a leaderboard to see who's kicking ass and taking names. That's a leak. Sorry, Davey, but yeah, we'll have we'll let Alex go into it. So leaderboard's going to be fun because we'll be able to see. And the other thing too is you do get incentivized for providing unbelievably high end equipment. So there'll be your base level, which is your proof of use of work mining fees. Basically, if you're tapped for proof of use of work, you're going to get paid from a higher pool than you would mining the chain, and then you go back to mining the chain when you're done. But there's other pieces into play as well. Example, people that run Cirrus nodes, or wait a minute, it's Cumulus nodes. Cumulus nodes, so sorry, I had Cirrus on the brain because of proof of use work. Cumulus nodes, they can deploy a Fractus node on top of their node, and they get paid extra Flux on top of that. If you provide 99.9% uptime in equipment, and you start to get into that leaderboard, then you're going to get a higher rate as well. You might get spot bonus, ad hoc bonuses as larger jobs come in and things like that. So there's lots of opportunities to incentivize people in that marketplace. And of course, our Titan nodes, which we had already talked about. Next slide. So Flux Cloud usage, a lot of people want to know this. We have individual customers of over 2,500 plus. With that, our annual recurring revenue is about 250,000 Flux, which if you take Flux at its ATH, that's pretty damn good. You know what I mean? We're kicking ass, guys. So even in the bear market when the prices are down, that's pretty damn good. So that's quite an increase from the 2022 to the 2023. And with that increase, remember, that helps us grease the wheels to build infrastructure to make this thing go faster as well. We've had an annual growth of revenue about 625%. We've surpassed my original 3-year plan. We surpassed that in the second quarter of this year in terms of deployment and people adopting it, which is pretty awesome. Our node utilization rate went from only 40% last year to 66% this year. That's insane. That's a massive growth. And by the way, has passed the number I had in my mind where we start thinking about, our next node collateral halving and so on and so forth. But we're adding an additional metric to that, and that is the actual deployment utilization as well. So 66% of deployment, but if you're only at 25% network utilization, then our actual utilization. So not this utilization number shows the total that have been deployed, but there's a utilization of the actual data on the network that needs to increase a little bit as well. So, I mean, I would say we're probably a year out from a collateral halving. So, and then we'll start, scaling up appropriately. We have some large customers coming into play that we're going to need a lot of infrastructure for. So you're going to see that probably come quickly. And our average order is around 11 Flux, which, I mean, you can't beat that, guys. There's 40, and that number's not on here, but there's 46,000 deployments running on Flux right now, and it just keeps going higher and higher and higher. And we have a lot of new customers that are coming in. So 1,200% or a hell of a we were 1,200 or 1,200 deployments last year. We're 2,500 plus this year. So that's pretty awesome. Next slide. So the cloud development, because people ask, all right, bear market, things suck. Everybody's like, they're pissed about things, whatever. And they're like, what's happening? Okay, we've got 25 people that are working pretty much full time on commits on Flux. Now we have a lot more on the team, but 25 people on that. And we'll talk about the employees down there in the bottom. But 25 people that are committing regular to GitHub, that's important. And some of those people don't even work for Flux. They're just doing commits to help with the platform, which is awesome. I'm sorry, that's the team. The contributors is 200 plus, which is amazing because that means it's gone out, it's beyond our team, and people are contributing from all over. And that's decentralization, folks. That's how it's supposed to work. So we had 847 GitHub commits this year till this date. That's insane. That is, and these aren't bullshit either. These aren't like, I changed the website. No, these are massive FluxOS updates, chain updates. These are, new products, new services. This is legit stuff. Our GitHub PRs are around 321. And so that's pull requests in case you didn't know, because I am a developer and a coder. So I know these things.
Well, really? Okay.
No,
sure.
Not really. But I know it's a pull request, Davey. So damn it, leave me alone.
We're not counting you for the GitHub team, by the way. You're a contributor at most.
Well, no. Hey, if you go in and look, I'm in there because one time I did a commit. So, how you like that?
Mm-hmm.
The next one is impressive to me because everybody knows if you want to move crypto, you don't use Bitcoin. If you need it to get there fast, you're going to move it to Litecoin, move wherever you need to go, and then you're going to move it back to whatever asset. Litecoin is averaging, and actually this slide's incorrect because it's a Litecoin. We have beat Litecoin many times, and transactions per day. That means Flux is doing more transactions on chain, and that doesn't include what we're doing on the node side of the world. This is on chain transactions more than Litecoin. Love this shit. That means it is highly utilized. People are engaging with it on a regular basis, and it means we're doing the things we're saying we're supposed to do. Metrics don't lie. Numbers don't lie. People can talk a lot of shit about how awesome their projects are, but if people aren't using the product, it doesn't matter. So this number to me is unbelievably important, and it's one that I'm very proud of actually because it puts us right up there with the heavy hitters in the top 25. And we have about 62 employees. Actually, I think it's a few more than that, but 62 people that actually work for the project, which is awesome because these folks are we have some volunteers, we have some full-time employees that work for Influx. We have, some folks that work for Zelcore. They're not included in this either. So these are all things that, we're working together, and it's awesome to see it grow like this. Next slide.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, we had to trim this down quite a bit because it was like we had to actually put some size to it. It's much more than that. We don't mess around. The folks that we work with, these aren't paper partnerships. These are actually development partnerships. These are people we're actually working with to help them grow their projects and deploy on Flux. So big shout out to all these folks. You'll notice too our NVIDIA Inception program. We're really working hard with those folks at NVIDIA. There's some pretty cool stuff coming about that. I'm not going to talk about it here or now, but there is some pretty cool stuff coming out of that camp as well. So there's some acknowledgement that Flux is probably next level shit. So, which is awesome because, sometimes convincing people, it's like, it's not easy, right? Because they're stuck in their old ways, right? It's their business model. So
it's interesting conversations.
Yes, it is. It is uncomfortable conversations at times. So that's awesome. Next slide.
All right. Just a time check then. We got about a ton of slides to go through. So,
okay, let's move.
Let's move fast.
Let's move. Yeah. Social metrics continue to even grow. On all of our accounts, we're at 200,000 plus. The main account is, I think, at 160 or something like that. Last year, we were at 50K. So even in our bear market, we've continued to surge. Our average daily reach is about 75 million plus. We are very active on Twitter, or X, I guess it's called. 154,000 up 88% on our 30-day reach. these impressions are important, and you'll notice that we are very aggressive with our Twitter, and because we are sitting right in the slot for that algo right now, where our stuff, and we know our stuff shows up a lot because we get input from our community and our teams as well. So good shit. 10,000 plus members on Telegram as well. Not there, 20,000 members on Discord. But the thing that you guys got to remember is we prune our Discord every 3 months. So if we have non-active accounts, I mean, we could easily have 80,000 in there. But we prune our accounts to make sure that we don't have any accounts in there that they're not interested in the project or they're not participating. You get out of here. And we just get rid of them. They can come back if they want, but we get rid of them. We were at 4,400 last year. We're up almost to 20,000, even with pruning. So that's amazing. Weekly visitors are about 2,000 plus, and we get about 100 plus new members every week. And that does not include our friendly bullshit spam bots. So good stuff. These are real people, flesh and blood. Next slide. We're going to just buzz through this. We got a shit ton of listings, guys. So now Guardian, Economy, Exodus, Chains Hero, Crypto Wallet, CoinW, Bitmart, KuCoin Futures, Giotus, whatever the hell that is. I don't know what that is. So you should go put a bunch of crypto on that, Davey. Okay, next one. Trade Ogre was not a new listing, but they did add USDT, which is a new piece as well. XT, CoinDex, Bit4X, CoinRabbit, Blockbeamer, SwapSpace, CoinStash, Mercatox, and Probit Global. So lots of listings. So these are some secondary exchanges. Next. So many people have said about Project Primetime. What is Primetime? How's it work? Okay, Primetime is about getting in front of people. So these are some of the in real life events and attendance that we've been doing. So we were at Flux Mining Disrupt. You guys got to see the videos and all that kind of good stuff down there. That was huge. We walked away with a shit ton of confidence from that conference. We were and I'm not just saying this, Davey, and you can strike me down if I'm lying. We were one of the most popular booths there. Yeah, it was 3 people deep damn near the entire first day. The second day was a little lighter because I think a lot of people are, there
was less people on the second day.
On the second day, it's just less people. But we were one of the most popular booths, hands down, 3 deep at most times. It was pretty awesome. The Government Blockchain Association in New York, the Crypto Summit in Zurich, Switzerland, Flux at ETHCC Prague, Czech Republic, Flux at the Bitcoin Conference in Miami, and Flux at Consensus 2023 in Austin, Texas. And I think there's more, Davey, isn't there, on the next slide?
Yes, sir.
And we got Cypherpunk 2023 in Fort Lauderdale. We've got Mazzari Mainnet. I am especially excited for this one. And people say, why does this one stick out more than anyone else? There's one other one that I'm more excited for, obviously. But this is peer-to-peer. So we are setting our booth up right across from where Coinbase is at. And this is all peer-to-peer. So all the heavy hitters in the space, the guy from Square, the guy from Circle, the guy from eToro, the guys and gals from Coinbase, so on and so forth. So these are industry folks that are going to be there. And they're going to see Flux for the very first time. And we're going to bring the heat. It's going to be badass. I'm loving it. We're headed to Synopsis Summit in Istanbul, Turkey. We're going to be at SC23, stands for Computer Science 23, in Denver, Colorado. We're getting mixed into a lot of these non-blockchain conferences, these tech conferences. And CES 2024, which is it's the holy grail of conferences. If you are in the tech industry, CES is where you want to be. It is. I can remember I went to CES like 15 years ago, right? And when I went in there, my eyes were like, oh my God, this is amazing. I saw one of the very first cheap LED TVs. I got to meet David Ortiz from the Boston Red Sox, got to hang out with him. I mean, it was amazing. And this is the mecca of events. And I'm also pleased to announce the Flux has been picked for an Innovators Award at CES. So we're going to be actually presenting for the Innovators Award for Flux Cloud, which is amazing. So we're excited to do it. We're excited to get the award and put that on our mantle. because Flux is innovative and we are kicking ass and taking names. So Flux Cloud is going to be recognized there. We're really excited for that. And then RSNA in Chicago, Illinois. What's the RSNA stand for, David? Do you know?
Radiology conference.
Yeah, so we're going to showcase proof of use of work and our radio. Oh yeah, I know, right? Proof of use of work and how it works with AI. If you guys didn't check out, we posted one the other day. Davey was doing kidney stones. You know, basically using Flux, our proof of use of work to detect whether an X-ray had kidney stones in it, which is pretty damn
actually
amazing.
Technically you posted it because I was showing you and you took a nice screenshot and then things happened.
It was your own fault. You know, you can't trust me at this point. Anyway, yeah, it was badass. I don't know. I got excited. So you know what I mean? Like I was like, yes, I need to post this. So good shit. All right. Next slide.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are at the conferences. So I know that guy next to you.
That's Scott.
He's a McWhale.
Oh, the other guy.
Yeah, the other guy. And there's the DeLorean with the flux capacitor in it. I hope you got a picture of the flux capacitor.
I do. But if you
know what would have been
close,
badass is crawl in that damn car and slap a Flux logo right on the capacitor. Just don't tell anybody. Just roll out and pretend it didn't happen. You missed an opportunity, Dave. I'm disappointed.
I did. But we'll see if we have. There might be another opportunity at Fort Lauderdale. So
I guess since you were hanging out with the big man there, we'll let it go. Okay. Next slide.
We talked Flux. It was fun.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a Bitcoin maximalist.
But he's a maxi. He's a maxi at heart.
He's a maxi, but he understands too that they're. I mean, he'll tell you everything's a shitcoin because I would too if I held like $1 trillion.
Yeah, well, how much?
Bitcoin. Well, I mean,
how much Bitcoin does a guy buy? Like crazy.
All
right.
Next.
Mining
and then
Disrupt?
this is Mining Disrupt. So there's the team, the dream team. Big shout out to those guys. We had hands down, and I'm not saying this either. And you asked the YouTubers and everything else who had the best booth at Flux or at Mining Disrupt. It was Flux. Our booth was lit. You know, it had the music, it had the videos, it had the demos of the Octo Miner. It was badass. We loved it. So good shit. And we had a really good time. So big shout out to everybody that helped out in that. You guys are awesome. Got to meet Alex face to face and, Caroline and Davey for the first time.
Yep,
I've seen Jeremy and many times, and Scott and I had met before at Consensus. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. We had a really good time.
All right.
Next. So here's our little recap. I'm going to go through this quickly because we have to get to the next phase, which is roadmap. Flux happening on February 8th. Our proof of use of work light paper was released. Our WordPress moved into beta. Our Flux PA distribution, Flux Algorand, Fluxmatic, Fractus Node reward program started. Next slide.
Oh, wow, you're going fast. Okay.
ChatGPT integration with Flux Discord, which is cool. I ask it some weird shit sometimes, and
Alex was
I don't know
teasing me the other day with it too. Don't know if you noticed that.
I don't know how it knows some of the shit that it does, and the other thing is sometimes it's full of shit. So I think we got a lot of work to do on AI. You know what I mean? Like, I forget what I asked it, but it was like maybe who is Dan Keller from Flux or something like that, and like it knew everything, like which blew my mind. Like I guess it's just scraping the internet and other places, but it was pretty awesome. Our XDAO black paper was released. I know a lot of people are going to ask about when the next version of the XDAO is coming out, right after proof of use of work, because all of our emphasis is right now is on proof of use of work. And once that's out, then we'll start looking at the next version of XDAO. It's important we get it done here within the next, 6 months to a year. So it's completely done. We just have to go through the effort of, putting it all, proposing it to the community, getting consensus, implementing the XDAO 2.0. There's some fundamental pieces where we're structuring our treasury. We have more of a treasury than we do a foundation, so to speak. And then there'll be some legal pieces. We're looking at Bahamas, perhaps, for the foundation to be located in. So there's some legal pieces that come into play there as well. we announced our partnership with Octominer. If you haven't checked out those boxes yet, check them out. Those things are insane, dude. And take it from somebody who spent the past 2 weeks working on building proof of use of work rigs. It's a hell of a lot easier. You know what I mean? It's turnkey. You shove your cards in there, you're ready to rock and roll just about. So, I've been messing with different shit. And at the end of it, I was like, yeah, I'm just buying Octominers across the board. So, fun times. We folding at home project with the universe and the Washington University Award for Flux Cloud for contributing life-saving goals and reaching a remarkable milestone of is that 100 million points?
Yeah.
100 million points. Holy shit. I know we're in like the top 1,000 now, and we could easily be in the top 100 if we really went hard on it. But I think I will tell you one of the things for proof of use of work, the very first beta model will be folding at home, because that comes from a foundation initiative. So you'll basically be folding at home and getting paid for it, which is going to be badass. All right, next one. Flux means of payment utility, UQuid integration, and cryptocurrency checkout integration. So our big push is to get Flux into the hands of some of these platforms that can be used for payment models. For us, we've been working with Crypto.com, Coinbase, and a few other folks to work for seamless on-ramps for deployments of nodes, deployment of infrastructure, so on and so forth. Basically you can pay in fiat, dirty fiat, and then it settles to Flux immediately. So we're continuing to work on building out those relationships. We got a very interesting one coming right as proof of work, use of work comes out, which I think is going to be awesome. So good shit there.
To be fair, we had the thing working for fiat onboarding, and then, the partner kind of said no at the very end, just as we were releasing shit. So
Stripe, yeah, we'll say who it is, because fuck those guys. Stripe turned into a bunch of dicks about it, which the reason they did it is because they started to do their own crypto payment thing. So we decided not to go back to Stripe. We're going to work with Coinbase, Crypto.com, other folks like that for onboarding, and there'll also be some fiat on ramps as well, but it's probably not going to be Stripe, even though they want us to come back. So I don't know. I didn't like the way they handled that shit.
No.
Flux integrated with Mrs. Browser. I don't even know what the hell that is, but it sounds important. And Project Mayhem. That's my favorite. Mayhem. And why is Mayhem important? Well, have you guys seen these deep fakes that are coming out? Jesus, they're getting so good. My wife sent me one the other day of Donald Trump rapping. Oh my God, you wouldn't know that it wasn't him. Like the voice sounded like him. It looked like him. His lips were matching up. I was like, oh my God, this is why Mayhem is going to be so important. So if anybody's out there that's listening that doesn't understand what
What happened?
I just unmuted myself and heard myself talking. It freaked me out. So Mayhem is all about the yin to the yang of AI. So everybody's talking about how do we scale AI? How do we build AI? How do we get it in the hands of the consumers and retail and so on and so forth? Mayhem we're still doing that on Flux with proof of use work and so on and so forth, but we're also building Project Mayhem that will be the truth model that helps with that. So
what you doing?
I see $1 trillion capitals in there. That guy's a dick. I mean, he continues to troll. The guy, wears glasses like this and drives a 78 Oldsmobile. So, and lives in his mom's basement on top of that. So he does some of the worst content I've ever seen. And he comes in and he continues to troll. The guy can't even read a share certificate. He says that I sold all my stock in Influx. He literally, the next line up was a share certificate showing that we just restructured. So if you're investing in $1 trillion capital, you're going to get screwed. So just be aware of it. Guy's a tool. On to the next one. So there, he got his 5 seconds of fame. Now he's irrelevant again. On to the next one. So Flux sponsorships and charities. This is badass. So, one of the areas that I really love is helping other people. Like that's the whole reason I worked in nonprofit the majority of my life. I love those things. So we helped out with the Steinbach area animal rescue, Operation Paws for Homes. So you can see me there with that awesome dog that I really wish I could have took home. It was a boxer. And it was so damn cute. And there's Caroline handing the check out. And there's our friends at CoinW, and they helped out their animal rescue as well. So Code Like a Girl, we gave money to them. We gave money to the animal shelter in Taiwan. This year, we're going to do a bunch more. So it'll be fun.
All right.
All right. This is the money shot. Let's go. All right. The roadmap coming up is unbelievably important. So Q3 of this year, these are our initiatives. Private Dockers. So we already have private Dockers running. We just want to get in onto a mass deployment images. Our Power DNS. So Flux created its own DNS model. What the hell is that called again? I can't remember what we called it. I think it's just FDN, Flux Domain, or I don't remember.
Yeah, no, it's Flux Domain Manager, and we're using Power DNS now as well. So we're running Power DNS on the infrastructure, our own infrastructure.
Project Enigma, which is badass. We'll get more into what Project Enigma is as we get further into this. We try to keep things like a little bit hush hush and low key. That's why you'll start to see some of these product names. Prime Time, Nebulous, all these other ones. These are all projects that are kind of like skunkwork projects that are being developed. Q4, our Flux referral program. So for us to grow bigger and grow faster, we know that we have to have a very robust referral program. So we're working on building that out as well. Our Flux carbon footprint, we're continuing to drive on our Flux carbon, which is unbelievably important for us to more or less be, we're a proof of work project, but we need to be energy aware. We also have to have the strategic statistics so that we can defeat people that say, hey, Flux is using a lot of power. We're not. We're actually repurposing hardware and equipment that would have ended up in a landfill to provide compute resources to everybody around the world. That's carbon negative at best, so carbon neutral is kind of where we're shooting for. The Flux Marketplace. Look, I have seen the Flux Marketplace. It is unlike anything that I've ever seen in my life. It is badass. So we'll start to be at Cypherpunk. I think we're going to have like a first look at the marketplace, which is cool. So if you're going to be there, check it out. It's going to be badass. Our parallel asset snapshot, our fiat payment for on-ramp, and our Project Java. So can't tell you what Project Java is, but I will tell you this. It's badass, and you'll see it at Cypherpunk. Q1. So we're looking at Q1 next year. XDAO 2.0 proposal to the community. So we talked about that earlier. It's important. Our Cirrus node testnet. There's going to be an initiative to make our Cirrus nodes very portable and actually deployable out of proof of use of work. So that'll be awesome because I call it the world's largest test net for a reason. It will be. Proof of use of work release candidate. So, Q1, we want to get in everybody's hands the beta. So there'll be an alpha this year sometime. You'll see it at proof of use of work as well, or at Cypherpunk as well. My brain's all proof of use of work now. You'll see it at Cypherpunk as well, which will be awesome. You'll also see Project Enigma Phase 2, WordPress full release in Q1, Primetime Phase 2. We're just in Phase 1 of 3 for Primetime, which is going to be balling. So I'm really excited about that. Project Juggernaut. That's another one, dude, that it's going to be badass. It's named Juggernaut for a reason. So, we'll hear more about that at Cypherpunk as well. We'll start to pull the curtain back a little on that as well. And in Q2, we're looking at proof of use of work Phase 2, Operation Lockbox, which, again, we like these code names because we're working on skunkworks stuff, but these will start to materialize themselves over the next 6 months, and you'll start to know what it is. Our Titan 2.0, which is our fully automated on-chain process. So we had some things we had to work out with Titan, and I think we did really good with that. So you'll see Titan 2.0 move forward, and hopefully that's when we can start allowing folks that are in the community to run infrastructure as well. And then our Flux Hackathon will also happen in Q2 of next year as well. So this is a lot of shit, guys, in a short period of time. Anyone else, if I saw this, I wouldn't believe that they could do it all. But this team, abs 100%, unbelievably, they will do it and then some. So got tongue tied there. Sorry. Next slide.
Should bring somebody else in now.
Yeah, I'm gonna let somebody else take this part.
All right. See if he's ready in the back there.
I'm sure he is. Is he awake? Oh, there he is. There's Alex.
Hey, how are you doing?
Alex,
Thanks for not
good.
leaking too much, by the way.
I
Only
behaved,
one so
didn't I?
far.
Only one so far. I mean, that won't be the last one, but we'll be okay. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of walk through these slides, and then Alex, I'll just kind of hand to you at different points, and you can expand on it. So our proof of use of work model, we want to expand the Flux Cloud presence into GPU as a service market. Channel computational, what the hell is that? Bruce's toward task to deliver meaningful outcomes. I don't know. Somebody screwed that one up. Scientific research, artificial intelligence, and rendering. So whoever did the spell check on this, I'm going to have to dock you 3 Flux. So no, I'm just kidding. Next slide. All right, Alex, you want to go over our real world impact?
Sure. Just targeting a few major use cases, which is basically AI and machine learning. Rendering too is quite big lately. We can see Sony buying tons of GPUs for rendering their latest movies or upcoming movie. I think it was Dune or something. And also cloud gaming and streaming. So the target sector is as various as the use case, going through medical field, federated learning, and other type of forecasting and simulations. The biggest actors and contributors so far, Lumen and NVIDIA, University of Applied Sciences as well, where I'm from actually, and a lot of others, which I can't really disclose so far. I think I'm not really allowed to. Yeah.
No, you can't.
No, there's
not, at least not.
There's
not
certain paperwork in place for that stuff. So no, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So the main components, already talked about these ones, but mainly the benchmark and configurations. So that's where we're going to have people bench the machines, compete against one another, and basically build out the leaderboard. So you can basically situate your machines and see where you can basically figure and how much you're going to perform against others or with others, actually. Maybe we'll come back to that one later. And based off that, we'll be able to tag the machines, what they're best suited for, and then you can just apply to whatever job you want to or category of jobs. So by doing this, we can basically define and schedule whenever you want to work or whenever there's a job available and send these jobs towards you. So the main delivery system is, it composes of a scheduler, secure the delivery as well, distribute the work, validate the work, and ensure proper orchestration of the workloads across multiple machines into isolated environments. So do you want to do the market opportunity, Dan?
Yeah. So our marketing team has gotten together and are really starting to focus in on use of work and how it's going to work. So we've started to come up with these bullet points. Our marketing opportunity. So our growth demand is increasing demand for high performance compute, machine learning applications. Sectors driving the demand: AI, deep learning, data science, and cryptocurrency mining. We targeting scalability and flexibility. So GPU renting cloud platform offers flexibility and scalability. One of the people that we're working with right now, they're going to use us as load balancing, essentially. They already have on-site data centers that they're currently building out and facilitating. And they'll be able to use Flux as their overflow if they've reached maximum capacity in their internals, and they can spread over to proof of use of work as well. So which is really cool. Cost savings. Flux is making it affordable for folks to start to get into AI and develop the platform out. So that is unbelievably important. So GPU renting services are not cost effective. If you try to go rent GPUs from Amazon Web Services, get ready to get your checkbook out, and it's going to be serious painful. So what it's doing is it's pushing out those entry-level developers, those entry-level businesses that want to utilize the technology and build their infrastructure out, but they can't afford to get the infrastructure. So that's going to be us. Healthcare arena is a perfect example. So for them to be able to speed up all of their diagnostics and allow them to use AI for their image generation, Davey can testify to this. In the healthcare world, imaging is one of the banes of their existence, right? Because the files are massive, and being able to view those files quickly, get an almost instantaneous diagnosis out of that is where AI is going to come into play. So they can do a lot of that internally as well. Broad customer base. So we're not looking at one particular, retail avenue. We're looking at a very broad customer base. We're looking at to diversify across all industries: technology, healthcare, finance, gaming, anything that relies on intensive GPU use, right? But there also is the CPU side of the house as well, because eventually people with data centers will be able to participate in proof of use of work as well. So if they have idle compute resources chilling, and by the way, most data centers are running at 25, 35% capacity at any given time, it allows them to step in and start to participating in that as well. Competition and differentiation. We've the differentiation of what Flux is doing would versus what Akash is doing, or other providers in Web 2 that are providing those infrastructures. We're very, very concise on what we're doing. We're providing the rails and the development model to be able to utilize compute resources inside of a marketplace. So I think there could be a time where you could see Akash and their GPU market integrated into Flux and its marketplace as well. And as a matter of fact, I see you can use any project that's utilizing GPUs to be integrated. So good things there. Emerging technologies. So that's our big focus of us, because we believe that because we can iterate so quickly, will be very valuable to folks that are doing the exact same thing. So edge computing, 5G networks. I don't know if you saw that Dish Network is now using Flux's head end to run some of their infrastructure on for their 5G product they're working on right now. Machine learning and so on and so forth. Anything that can drive GPU demand. Our global reach, we're not limited to one area. AWS is kind of structured out globally, but really their infrastructure resides in one area. We don't have that problem. We're a very global based product, and we can drill down with geolocations to wherever you need that hosted at as well. The sustainability. One of the big pieces for Flux is our commitment to the environment as well. We realize that we have to be good stewards of our resources. So making sure that we demand sustainability from our miners, our node operators, make sure that we're tracking our carbon footprint, make sure that we're offsetting our carbon footprint with useful work. It's a big deal. And it supports a global push for achieving UN sustainable development. So I'm not a huge fan of the UN. This is one thing that I can agree on, next slide, that does make it is important to be in line with. Why? Because this takes away the argument that people are using against Bitcoin and other proof of work projects. If we all start to adopt and understand, we're not going to take this argument away unless we address their concerns. So for us, we started with these three areas. It's 9 and 12. UN sustainable goals, environmental impact, so energy effective, scaling flexibility, infrastructure optimization, energy efficient hardware, resource allocation, okay? Social benefits, promoting digital inclusion, advancing research and innovation, accessibility and affordability, empowering startups and small business. No brainer, guys. This is 100% what we need to be doing. Governance and community, transparency and audibility, community engagement and collaboration, and incentivized alignment. This addresses the UN goal number 9 and number 12. So industry, innovation, and infrastructure, and 12 is responsible consumption and product. So to me, it's a no-brainer. We do it because it takes away that argument. It helps bolster and showcase our proactive nature in these concerns. And from a regulatory standpoint, this is going to be golden for us because we'll have the actual metrics to match these and show that the quantitative data that we extrapolate from this is legitimate, and we're not just pie in the sky. We're actually working toward addressing these things. Next slide. GPU as a service market. You want to go over this, Alex?
Sure, why not? So the target market is basically what I addressed a bit earlier, but basically the projection of these markets are going by billions of dollars over the years. We can see graphs already in NVIDIA stocks basically going quite up high and having all these companies buying out GPUs. The fields that these covers basically go, as we mentioned earlier, over healthcare, automotive, gaming, finance, and way much more. I can't really, I won't really go much longer on this. Maybe you want to take over, Davey?
Well, it's actually quite simple, right? So the GPUs at this point, we're focusing on AI, but there's more to it as well, right? So there's the rendering piece to it. If you think about the amount of money that's spent on videos and the rendering out of these videos, no, there's a bigger market out there. This is just purely for AI itself that we're looking at this point. So there's a big market out there, and even a small percentage of this is a big revenue, right? So that's what we're
I think our target goal, and it's not listed on this, is 5% of the global compute within 3 years. I think it is. So, I mean, that sounds like lofty goals, but if you hit critical mass adoption, I think that's where you're going to be seeing a lot. Okay, next slide. So, competitive landscape. Right here, you see Lambda, CoreWeaver, Vast AI. There's a lot of folks talking about Vast AI right now because it's profitable, but it won't maintain that profitability because there's no use case driving the back end of it that I'm aware of. And I searched for a long time to see some of the products that they're doing. I don't know, man. It's kind of like a Dynex situation here. If you can't see what the output models are, I don't know about what the input models are. So it could be a concern, maybe not a concern. And maybe, if it's legit and it works, you could see Vast AI plugged into proof of use of work as well. No reason why. So you look at their AAR versus over the, I think this is a 1 year span. Yeah. Total funding, 122 million. Total funding for AAR is 376 million total funding. So if those products are worth that, imagine what Flux is worth. And I think that as we continue to build this thing out, people are going to see the unbelievable value of this. So Lambda was in 2014. CoreWeaver 2017, Vast AI in 2018, and we were founded in 2018 as well. Next slide.
So this is our roadmap for proof of use of work.
The other thing I just want to pop up about is I see a lot of people talking about an ASIC on Flux. If somebody, first of all, if anybody can bring up any proof that it exists, I think it's all lies and it's bullshit. But if it did exist, we would fork within a week. So if don't go out there and buy some horse shit that somebody's telling you will mine Flux with the old Z9s or whatever it is, because it's a lie. It doesn't work. So, and trust me, we would know because we monitor this very, very closely. So don't buy anybody's shit that they say that is going to do it because it doesn't exist. And if it did exist, we'd fork immediately. So it'd be a worthless endeavor. You'd be stuck with a piece of shit hardware. So anyway, proof of use of work roadmap, back on topic. Q4, we're looking at the website launch specifically for proof of use of work. We're looking at Flux Core. This is Flux Core Alpha. We talked about this. I see a lot of people, bummed because it's not going to release candidates until next year. That's not the truth. The Alpha will release this year, and you'll be able to use it. It will be able to mine. You'll be able to participate in proof of use of work, all those particular pieces. But being an Alpha means that we need your input back to make sure that it works effectively. So we go in an alpha beta process. You could definitely see beta within Q1 of next year, which is a little bit more release candidate. You guys are just early folks to the game. So it still mines, still does all the things you needed to do, but it's going to just not have some of the features like headless gaming and pieces like that included. Q1, we're looking at our scheduler deployment, our secure job distro, workload orchestrator, validation of jobs in isolated environments. If you want something built right, it doesn't come quickly. And we've been working on proof of use work now for the better part of 5 years. So, the reality of it is the folks that are out there telling you they're a proof of use of work and, the ICPs of the world that are just total bullshit. We're doing it the right way. So you're either the first, you're the best, the biggest, and the cheapest. We'll take the last three. I'll take that. Isolated environment, Q2, Flux Core Beta, Flux Marketplace, payment model, and live services AI and rendering. So we would officially turn on the lever to get things rolling quickly. Next slide. Flux Papa NFT event number. What is this? I don't even know what the hell
This is an NFT. So this is no longer part of proof of user work. This is something that Betty and the marketing team actually stood up, and I think it starts actually now. So
they get the collector's NFT for proof of user work. Oh, I know what this is now. Yeah.
Yep. So
yeah, I saw this last night, and I'm like, it didn't register to me what it was, so that's good. I like that. So everybody go get your official proof of user work NFT.
Yeah.
There's your event number, your secret, and active window starts 10 a.m. Eastern time, like right now. So you should be able to go get it in that PO app, whatever it is.
PO app.
Okay, next.
Right. Just want to make sure everybody has the ID before they hop in.
Is there like a limit to these, Davey? Like, or is it just anybody that attends can get it within that window? Because I want one.
There's only a window of 15 minutes. So if you're here, you can basically get it. If you're like a minute late, then you won't have it. So only the folks who are right here, right now, still listening, basically get access to this NFT. And I think there's a limit as well of these. So, yeah. I think
shit.
Betty's pinging me. There's 200 apparently that are. If there's.
Well, I'm in this. I can't get one. All right. Well, whatever. I'll get one later if I can.
Yep. And we still have to do the folding at home raffle as well at one point.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Next slide.
And that was it.
Okay. Well, what time we got? We got like 15 minutes tops. Okay, yeah. So we made it through. There was a lot of information in here. What we're going to do is if you scan this code, you can join us at Cypherpunk. Cypherpunk is shaping up to be a badass event. So I am super excited for it. If you haven't checked it out, we got some of the biggest projects in the space coming. Crypto Wendy O is going to be kind of our MC the one day, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a rig building competition, know your blockchain competition. Lots of prizes. I think there'll be some swag as well. So you get a nice shirt. You may even get a probably nothing shirt. Maybe. I don't know. Might give a few out down there. So good shit. So let's go ahead and do this, Davey. Let's do 15 minutes of an AMA. We'll do it in a rapid fire. So just fire up the question. Anyone that has a question, put it in the chat now.
All right. So I know some of these guys are a little bit trolly, and by all means, we'll still answer your question though, so don't you worry. So I know Chadwick has been trolling a little bit, but I see your questions. We'll quickly go through them. So parallel assets, because there was a bit of a misunderstanding there, I think, or they don't understand it fully. But basically, the way parallel assets work is you're mining Flux, native Flux on the regular chain, and we're basically handing extra Flux on the side on the parallel assets. What are we using the parallel assets for? It's for easy integrations with other chains. It's as simple as that.
Interchain operability. It's the holy grail of blockchain. Chains
certain exchanges, for instance, don't have the native Flux coin or don't have the budget to manage other wallets, but they are managing, for instance, an Ethereum wallet, a Binance wallet. So if you're on that chain, you can easily integrate with them. There's payment mechanisms out there, again, that use certain chains that are not always the native Flux chain. So again, easier integrations with other projects out there. That's the intent of the parallel assets in a nutshell. It's as simple as that.
Yep. Good. All right. Next.
FC has been asking a couple of questions as well, so I picked a few. So if I missed one, FC, I'm sorry. We can always address that later on as well.
Okay. How much PA is unclaimed less than fusion fees? Where does it go? Does Zelcore vacuum it up? How to easily see how many tokens on layer 2 versus main chain? Well, there are some APIs for that. There is a console that's being built for it right now, so it'll be a lot easier in the future. Anything that isn't claimed, it just kind of chills there. And you think of it as like a massive burn to the network because we can't necessarily go in and arbitrarily take those PAs from people because they might claim them at some point. Now, the one thing that it does is exchanges that do not participate in the PAs, that does go back to the foundation. So like a KuCoin.
And the pools, there's one pool as well out there, I believe, that's not handing out their PAs.
So that would go back to, that goes back to the foundation essentially for development and progress. We are working on direct claiming. So basically next year sometime you'll be able to mine on any pool and directly claim your Flux, which will be quite nice. You don't have to worry about, a fusion or anything like that. Well, it's kind of a fusion property, and we do have other
property, right?
And we do have other products that are being developed specifically for open source, additional fusion avenues, things like that. So we actually are unveiling 2 things at Cypherpunk that will change how we work with PAs. I hope that answers your question, FC.
And I see a couple other questions as well, so we'll pick a few others as well in a sec.
You can get some of the trolling ones too. I like those.
Here you go.
I wanted to support Flux, but the proof of use work isn't even available, but they sell Octominer servers to the people. Are they stealing from the people? Well, that's just fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even understand that. Like, this is people preparing for the next proof of use work. I mean, you don't understand, you don't understand mining. You can still mine something different on that Octo server. You don't have to use it for proof of use work. It's hardware. So
it's a partnership, right? So the folks were asking, what do we need as a minimum to get going? So we basically gave that information, and the folks turned it around and wanted to sell these as a Flux server. Totally fine with that.
It totally amazes me, the negativity in the space when you try to help people. People are like, how do I do this or how do I do that? Okay, well, we've got a vendor that'll help you. I want to run it. You want to run a node. You want to make it easy. So we have a Seed Studio or a Cortex or whatever it's called, and then now you have Octominer is going to help. Everybody looks at it like somebody's trying to scam somebody. Like this isn't how it fucking works, guys. This is hardware that you own yourself, and you don't have to be committed directly to Flux. You could mine something else if that's what floats your boat. So just calm the fuck down. Like, we're trying to help people. We're not trying to scam them, for God's sakes. Next question.
Absolutely.
How will healthcare information be secured? So everything on Flux Drive is Flux IPFS, so it's a sharded environment. Being in healthcare, this is all opt-in process. Your HIPAA guidelines and so on and so forth are really driven by the localities of the hospitals with their actual storage of their information. I will upload my EMR into a platform we call Paradigm, which is an EMR platform. It'll look much like you do with your assets. So if you have a multi-asset platform where you're holding all your crypto, you can add a snap-in feature to that as well, and that'll be your health information. But it's not going to be a push-down approach. It's going to be a pull-in approach. So people are going to have to opt into the process, and they assume some of the risk and maintenance of their, just like you would, with a finance. If you hold crypto, you're assuming that you're handling. You're not at a bank. You're actually going to be the one that handles the assets. So we're going to also have secure Dockers for that, and we'll also have enterprise-based infrastructure for that. So it's all enterprise, but if we want to get somebody like Cerner to plug in and participate with, Paradigm running on Flux, we need to have those pieces in place very early on. So we're not looking to necessarily supplant some of these large EMR platforms. We're looking to augment it for a portion of the community who wants to hold that data themselves.
Well, and on top of that, you have to. There's also a responsibility on the person uploading certain information to the cloud, right? So you can, as much as we have to do our due diligence, there's always a due diligence on the provider itself. So the person who is holding that information, who's handling that information. So if you're thinking for AI, for instance, they need to anonymize it first before they can even send it to a third party in the cloud. Just FYI.
There's going to be a process for all of it. So
so there's FIA regulations that are on the handler of the data itself. So there's a lot of moving parts there. I saw somebody responding with HL7. HL7 is not the secure way of moving data, by the way. There's,
much
I'll
other
leave it at that.
secure ways. Yeah, there's much other secure ways.
It's a bit of
All
an
right.
older protocol. Anyway,
Other question.
other question. We tackled it already quickly. If there is proof out there that there is a machine out there that can do mining Flux as an ASIC, you know what we've said before. The moment we
will
really
fork immediately.
we will fork. Simple as that.
Yeah. So, don't be fooled by people that say they can do it because, if you know anything about ASICs, you know exactly what has to be reprogrammed to make that happen, and it isn't going to work. So, don't buy any equipment that people's telling you that will mine Flux and it's an ASIC. What?
Alex, can you answer this one? Well, use cases will have the older GPUs. I know we talked about it this week, even on use cases. So,
Am I
feel
allowed
free
to
to
disclose
give
this
one.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
Sure. All right. By the way, I haven't been speaking much today about proof of use work because I'm keeping all for Cypherpunk.
For Cypherpunk,
in 2
right?
weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
But you can answer this one.
So, all right.
A little glimpse.
A little glimpse. Anything that can fit on the memory, or like a small batch enough that still makes sense of data, can be used on smaller GPUs.
There you go. So to translate that, so if you're not running a model that requires 30 gigs of RAM on a GPU itself, but if we're talking like a few gigs, 2-3 gigs of RAM, then you can use any GPU at that point. So there's options for the older GPUs as well. So don't be fooled. Everybody looks at the H100s and etc. Those are the big boys. Don't get me wrong, but the small ones have a role to play as well. And plus, there's more of those than there's the big boys. So
think of it as their strength in numbers.
Yep.
1080. 1070 Ti's and 1080 Ti's better work because I've got a whole freaking box of
the
them.
1080 Ti's. I think they came with, what was it, 12 or 16 gigs?
The 12 gigs, I think.
They're 12 gigs. Alex, do you remember?
1080 Ti's.
Oh, 1080,
12?
1080? No, 1080 is slower.
No, 1080 Ti. I believe you had a lot of memory.
11, something like that. Like 2080.
It was an awkward
11 gigs. Okay. Well, anyway, I've got a bunch of them that I've been scooping up dirt cheap. So you guys better make sure that happens.
Alex, can you take the next one?
Sure. Will we be able to see what jobs are going in and out of proof of use work? Not sure what you're saying here.
What he's trying to say is, what's the metrics? Because right now we got another project that says they're proof of use work, but you can't see what they're actually doing.
Well, there's multiple ways here, and I know why Alex is a little hesitant on answering, but there's multiple ways, right? So there's people pushing work to the network, and those will be ad hoc jobs, but there's also another way where you'll basically be able to opt in to see what kind of work you're doing. So there's multiple ways of seeing it, but yes, you'll also see what's running, what the job name is, and all that fun stuff. So you'll see things in the dashboard.
Remember, we have to respect our customers' privacy as well. So you might see what the actual, maybe it'll say AI or render, but unless they want that information to be seen, I don't necessarily know we'll see who it is that's actually doing it. There will be specific jobs in the marketplace that have a name, and you'll know exactly what it is and what the output models look like. So I think it's important to have some privacy there, but I also think that the people in the network need to be able to see that their data is being utilized.
I hope we're answering that question, FC, and if not, let me know.
There's actually a whole section dedicated to this kind of, but we'll talk about it at Cypherpunk probably.
Yep.
Cypherpunk. All right.
Yeah, we're rolling a bit back on the proof of use work leaks here, but yeah, Cypherpunk is where you want to be or listening to get really more information. Consultant Tante is asking why the pre-search node price has risen so much.
Because they're so popular that we had to get the prices up to kind of match some of the other folks, because we would have ate our entire network up, and as we're still scaling. So I think you'll see the prices start to come back down again, but we do have to there is some dynamics there, some kind of like load balancing almost.
Supply and
to
demand
make
as
sure.
well, right? So
I think they're still the cheapest, but I mean, but we realized we had to kind of get the prices up there a little bit because otherwise it would have hampered us in scaling out the network appropriately. So it's all good. We're getting ready for next scaling, and then we'll have as many as anyone wants to run.
all right, we're flying through the questions here, so if we're not answering everything fully, I'm sorry. How are you working on making it easier for U.S. customers to purchase Flux?
Well, we're working with exchanges and so on and so forth. They list you as their own as they see fit. I mean, we have a couple U.S. exchanges out there. U.S. is a shit show right now, so just hang loose. I think you're definitely gonna see some good shit.
It's but it's not just the U.S. It's in Canada too. I know a couple other countries were making it hard. For instance, on Binance, etc. Unfortunately, we can't control what the governments sometimes do, and what the governments do to certain exchanges, and how the exchanges react to it. And we had a ton of slides there. I think it was 2 slides full of exchanges listing us. But yeah, there's we can't control sometimes what the market does. We have open channels with most of the exchanges, big and small, and so we're trying to advocate as much as we can to put the native ones in. But there's always another option with the parallel assets as well.
Cool. Hold on 1 second. $1 trillion capital. You say, are you planning on answering any of my questions, or just cry at the person asking? Again, I don't want to make you relevant because you're unbelievably irrelevant, but I'll even do you one better than that. If you have the balls, I'll come on your show and I'll talk to you about Flux, and I'll talk to you about your points that are totally irrelevant and absolutely ridiculous. And I'll donate $1,000 in Flux to any charity of your choice. So if you want to whine and be a bitch, I'll come on there and I'll give you $1,000. You pick the charity, and I'll make sure that I answer every question you got. So we'll put that out there. We'll see whether or not he takes me up on it.
All right.
Anyway.
All said minor. I believe if Flux offers a VPN service, it would be awesome. Has it ever crossed the project's mind? Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't necessarily think that it's on our roadmap short term, like next year or so. But I think eventually we'll get to a point where we'll have enough robust infrastructure where it just makes sense to snap that shit in.
All right.
And the other thing too is we're working on Web 2 integrations as well. So as you deploy on Flux and Web 3, we're also working on deploying out of Web 2 as well for some redundancy, load balancing, and so on and so forth. So we have some opportunities there. Did we announce the winners?
No, not yet. We can do it actually right now. We can do it live, and then basically, let me pull up this. Give me 1 sec. The guys made me a little application to pick 5 winners. So let's see. These would be our 5 winners of the folding at home competition.
Wow. How did you do that, dude? You made your own little script there. That's cool. So it just randomly picks 5.
It randomly picks 5 folks. I can run this for any application on the network. And basically, for going forward, this will be a little tool that we have to basically pick people and find our winners. So I'll make sure.
Right, so we'll post that up in Discord. We'll also put this presentation in Discord as well. David, can you throw a PDF up in there as well when you post this?
I'll do that.
And anyone that would like to come to Cypherpunk in Fort Lauderdale, okay, I have 20 tickets that I bought that I'm giving away for free. If you can guarantee me that you're coming to the event, reach out and we'll make sure that you get a ticket. I want to make sure everyone comes, and I don't want money to be the reason why you can't. So hit me up and we'll make sure you get a code to get you in. Puma said he still needs 2 tickets. Can we take care of that, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right. Anyone else that needs them, hit us up. You can post it in Discord. We'll take care of you. And again, big thank you to everybody for coming out today and sitting through this. I know this is one of our longer events. And I look forward to, kicking ass and taking names into the next, we're going to update everything. Everything will be out. The website gets updated with the roadmap. So that'll all be done this week. So, Davey, play us out.
I can.
Oh, why do they lie? Yeah. There's only one way to go, and that's Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. I know we fighting these corporate tyrants. They try to silence, but we can see they tried to censor our speech. They want no privacy. At night I can't sleep, cause my data, they gonna breach. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all my people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. And you know we Web 3.0. And you know we Web 3.0. We gon'